What's up everyone? Welcome back to HaniDreamscapes. I'm Hannah, or Hani for short, and today I'm here to guide you through the exciting journey of writing your first draft. But before we dive in, make sure you thoroughly planned your book. If you haven't already, check out the first part of this series for foolproof planning tips. Now let's get started. The first step in writing your book is finding the right writing software. Personally, I use Reedsy because it is super user-friendly and completely free. Creating an account and starting your book is as simple as a few clicks. Don't worry too much about the crazy details like your book cover or even the name of your book, because you can always edit that later. Reedsy offers handy tools like find and replace and a writing timeline on the right side of the screen and organization aids on the left, making your writing process a whole lot smoother. But before you begin writing, make sure to remember this one thing. The first draft is for you and you only. Don't mull over what your readers might think too much. Write the story you want to read. That way you don't stress yourself out over making your first draft perfect. That is what we will work on in the second draft. Now let's talk about the first chapter. It is a crucial stage of writing your book, setting the stage for everything else that follows. Generally, you can follow these guidelines. First, think about your character desires. Second, think about what is preventing your character from reaching those desires. Third, think about how you can show these in your first chapter, subtly weaving in the theme of your story. For instance, in my story, The Starfly's Kiss, Maya's desire for a better world clashes with her feeling that she is small in comparison to the rest of the world. I also subtly hinted at a hidden strength of Maya's, showcasing her loving nature and demonstrating the story's central theme, the importance of compassion. Just a quick note, you might not be able to write your first chapter perfectly in one go, and that is okay. I can't stress enough that perfect is not what we're striving for yet. You can choose to start the story slowly, by slowly immersing your readers into the world, or you can dive right into the action to hook them. Either way, make it engaging and true to your story. As you progress, use the timeline that you created to guide your writing. For those of you who haven't watched my last video, make sure that you create a simple timeline of your story before you write. It really does help a lot. And if you get stuck, don't be afraid to leave a bunch of question marks and fill in the gaps later. That might sound like a bad idea, but I've actually noticed that in my time of writing, it actually doesn't affect your story. Once again, your first draft doesn't have to be perfect. That's what revisions are for. Speaking of structure, your story doesn't have to be a constant rise in intensity. The plot of your story should look more like this. There's plenty of variation in the rising action. Your characters can have downtime too. It is okay if you just let your characters sit in a coffee shop while they're trying to figure out what to do next. While you're trying to figure out what to do next. In fact, these moments can enhance character development and add depth to your narrative. And if your story is starting to feel dull, consider slowing down, even though our immediate reaction is just to do the exact opposite. Detail and interest often thrive in these quieter moments. Because remember, the characters don't always grow closer because of this big thing that they're doing. Sometimes all it just takes is a little bit of sitting down in awkward silence together, or something like that. Now when it comes to the climax, plan it strategically. It might happen at a specific point in your story, or it may just unfold more gradually. Regardless, ensure that it's as close to the end of your story as possible to maintain the reader's interest. As for the resolution, keep your readers guessing all the way up until the very end. Leave some questions unanswered, such as, do the characters live happily ever after? Or, what happened to this person, place, or thing after the climax happened? You can end your story with a thought-provoking note that lingers in your readers' minds. One great example of this was in the story called The Crowns Game. Spoiler alert, one of the main characters had supposedly passed away, but then the character sees the former in her incredibly realistic dream. Was the character alive, or was this just a device used to show the character's love for the other? I thought about this ending for days, weeks even, yet it was so simple. It doesn't have to be too complicated, just make it resonate with you. And there you have it, the essentials of writing your first draft. Stay tuned for the next video in this series where I will show you how to write the second draft of your story. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I got your back. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!